speaker, Ms. Mamta Nainy. The stage is yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much for such a sweet introduction, and thank you all for being here. My name is Mamta Nainy and I write stories. So a large part of my day is spent dreaming up ideas about these stories. Some of these ideas stay quietly in my notebook, some others grew up to become real books. But sometimes something really, really fun happens. A kind and clever editor sort of comes along and asks me, wouldn't this make for a fun book? And that is exactly how this book was born. From a brilliant idea that an editor shared with me. Do we all know who editors are? What do editors do? Do we know what editors do? No? Who are editors? No. Okay. So what do authors do? I'm an author, right? So what do authors do?
They write the story.
They write stories, that's absolutely correct. So they write stories, and after writing those stories, what do they do? Edit it. They edit it themselves, that's right. And then they send it to a publisher, okay, who publishes the book. And that's how the book reaches you, the readers, right? So in publishing houses, there are experts, there are people who edit books, okay? They kind of shape stories into books, okay? So sometimes the author writes these stories and sends it to the editors, but sometimes it also happens that the editors come up with ideas for books and then they sort of approach the writers or the authors, okay? So this book was actually thought up by an editor. So there's this editor, a brilliant editor at Penguin Random House. She sort of spoke to me and she said that I want to do a book on the folk music traditions of India, and that's how we began working on this book. Okay, I was absolutely thrilled to work on this book because I love music. How many of us here love music? Do you all like music? Okay, but this book is on the folk music traditions of India. So let's begin by discussing what really is folk music. What is folk music? How is it different from Bollywood music, for example? Have you ever read folk stories? Folk tales? Yeah? So what kind of stories are those? All kinds of guesses and responses are welcome, okay? Yeah.
And they are related to a specific state.
Okay, lovely. Anyone else? Anyone? Yes.
Not that we follow in our state.
Okay. So these are practices that we follow in our states, right? So folk music is basically music that is made by ordinary people. Folk stories are stories that are created by ordinary people. The folk music is music about their everyday lives, okay? So these are songs that carry their stories. Stories about their joys and struggles, their dreams and aspirations, about their everyday lives. Okay, so long before we had, TV, radio, Spotify, YouTube, people sang to pass time, they sang to pray, they sang to celebrate, they sang to feel a little less lonely. And why did they sing? Because music is something that comes to us very, very naturally, right? Yeah, sometimes we might burst into a song even without thinking, especially when we are doing something. So for example, if you're taking bath, you might burst into a song, or if you're walking, you might burst into a song, or if you're playing, you might burst into a song. That's right? Yeah? So a lot of this folk music was created while these people did their everyday chores. Okay? Like pounding grains, or rowing boats, or spinning yarn, or farming. Imagine you are in a big farm right now. What kind of sounds would you hear?
Sound of wind.
Sounds the wind. Lovely.
Sound of nature.
Sound, what kind of sounds? Bird songs, very good. The winds, lovely. What else? Sounds of animals, maybe? What else? What other sounds you might hear if you're standing in the middle of a big farm right now?
Chirping of birds.
Chirping of birds, lovely.
Then flowers.
Flowers, okay, okay. Anyone else? So these are the sounds that provided a certain rhythm to folk songs. So folk songs are often born in the sounds of everyday life, okay? And then they travel within a community. So for example, if there is a group of women who are sitting together and they are pounding grains, they might sing a song to synchronize their work, to bring a certain rhythm to their work, okay? Or if, for example, there is a group of men who are building a house together, building a house is a lot of hard work, right? Yeah? So they might feel a little bored, a certain tedium might set in. So to break from that tedium, they might sing a song, okay? Yeah? And then these songs get passed down to the next generation, not by writing these songs down, but by listening and singing along. What's your favorite song? Yes. Yeah. Yes. Your favorite song. Would you like to sing it for me? Anyone? Maybe share a couple of lines of your favorite song? Yes.
I like all the songs.
Okay. But one particular favorite?
Yes.
Yes. Would you like to share?
Yes.
Yeah.
कोई जो मिला तो मुझे ऐसा लगता था जैसे मेरी सारी दुनिया में गीत की रुत रंग भी बरखा है खुशबू की महकी हुई सी अब सारी फिजाएं बहकी हुई सी अब सारी खोई हुई सी अब सारी दिशाएं बदली हुई सी अब सारी ये जागे मन में धड़क रहा है दिल सांसों में तूफान होठों पे नगम है आँखों में सपनों में बिदे हुए सारे बुलंदे हैं जब कोई आया था नजरों पे छाया तो दिल में सब कैसे मैं बताऊँ तुम्हें कैसे उसे पाया था प्यार से चेहरे पे बिखरे तो जुल्फ़े था ऐसा लगता था जैसे पीछे का फूस में फिरा हुआ फूल खिलाया जैसे बादल एक चांद छुपाया और झाकर जैसे चांद के पर्दे में एक सवेरा है रोशन रोशन आँख में सपनों का सागर प्रेम सितारों की चादर जैसे झलक रही है लहरों लहरों बात जैसे मोती बरसे जैसे कहीं चांद की पायल गूंजे जैसे कहीं शीशे के छान और झंग से टूटे जैसे कोई छुप के सितारे बजाए जैसे कोई चांदनी रात में जैसे कोई हाल से पास बुलाए कैसे मीठी बातें थी वो कैसे मुलाकातें थी वो जब मैंने जान करना से पिघलता है दिल और सफाती है कैसे मंजिल और कैसे उतरता है चांद जब कैसे कभी लगता है स्वर्ग अगर तो बस यही पर उसने बताया मुझे और समझा हम जो मिले हैं हमें ऐसे ही मिलना तो कुल जो खिले हैं हमें ऐसे ही खिलना तो जन्म के बंधन जन्म के कभी हमने तो हमने ही मिलता है ख्वाब में मेरे जैसे शहद पे गुल लगे ख्वाब शहद पे गुल लगे ख्वाब की दुनिया जो इतने हंसी और कहीं भी नहीं थी ख्वाब की दुनिया जो कह पर यही और Mama, I don't remember.
Oh my God, that was so beautiful. Lovely, lovely. Good night, everyone. That was so nice. So how did you learn this song? Did you learn it by writing it down or did you hear it over and over again and that's how you remember the song? You hear it sometimes, right? So you don't write the lyrics down, right? Anyone else?
My song name is Janabe Ali.
Janabe Ali, okay. Let's hear it.
Can I sing?
Yes, absolutely.
अजनबी से तुरा सीनों में तेरनी मुलाकात यार मेरी नासमत में तेरनी मुलाकात हाय 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 rapping. यार मेरी रीति सारी जत देरी तरफ फिरेंगे यार मेरी रीति सारी जत देरी तरफ फिरेंगे ददरे रंदे नी पहचानी ददरे गेरा सो तेरी नाय सुहाय तो भी मानेंगे तेरे धीरे धीरे नौस को जमानेंगे तेरी असना होए तो यारा समझे जनाबे अली समझे जनाबे अली.
Lovely, lovely. That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Anyone else wants to sing? Okay.
I need to sing for my mom.
Okay, now, so it's dedicated to her mom. Yes.
लुक्का छुपी बहुत हुई सामने आ जाना आजा सांझ हुई पूछे तेरी फिक्र ढूंढे ला गई देख मेरी नजर आ जाना कहाँ कहाँ ढूंढा तुझे थक गई है तेरी माँ आजा सांझ हुई पूछे तेरी फिक्र ढूंढे ला गई देख मेरी नजर आ जाना.
So we all remember these songs because we listen to them over and over again, right? We don't write the lyrics down and then learn them, right? So that is exactly how folk music also gets passed down. The next generation sort of grows up listening to these songs and that's how they remember these songs. So folk music traditions are largely oral. They are not written traditions. Okay? Yeah? Now, have you ever heard a song and felt something even without understanding its lyrics? Has it ever happened to you? That you couldn't understand the words but you still enjoyed the song very much. Yeah, so that is what we are going to be exploring today. We'll do a fun little activity. I'll play an audio clip for you. We'll all listen to that song and then we'll discuss that song. Are the instructions clear? Yes. Okay. Okay, we close our eyes and we listen to the song very, very intently, very, very carefully. And then whatever images come to your mind, we'll discuss those. Yeah? Close your eyes, everyone. What did you imagine?
The sky.
The sky? Okay. What color was the sky?
And blue.
Blue? Okay. Yes.
A man going on the way.
A man going on the
way.
Okay. Okay, okay, lovely. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes.
Ma'am, he is helping someone else.
Okay, so there's a man who's helping someone. Okay, okay. What kind of colors did you see? Did you see any sort of colors? Yes.
I see blue color.
Blue, okay.
Blue and green.
Blue and green, okay. Anyone else? Yes.
Red and orange.
Red and orange.
Sky blue.
Sky blue. So a lot of you imagined the sky. Okay. What did the song make you feel? Did you feel anything? Did it make you feel happy, sad, a little lonely? Lonely? Okay. Yes.
Lonely.
Lonely? Okay. Anyone else? Want to say something?
I feel like a happy.
You felt happy by listening to this song. Okay. Anyone else wants to share? You want to? You're raising your hand, no? Okay. Yes.
I'm lonely.
Lonely? Okay. Okay. Yes.
Ma'am, lonely and sad.
Lonely and sad.
Lonely and happy.
Lonely and happy. Yes, you can be happy even when you're lonely. You're alone. Okay. So this song actually belongs to a folk music tradition that we are going to be talking about today. This song belongs to a folk tradition called the Bhatiyali. What is the folk music tradition called? Bhatiyali. Now these are songs that are traditionally sung by the boatmen of Bengal. Okay? People who lead their lives around rivers, who live in these riverside communities in Bengal. Okay? You know, the world's greatest civilizations were actually born next to rivers. So Nile, for example, in Africa, Indus in the Indian subcontinent, Euphrates and Tigris in Mesopotamia. And Bhatiyali also belongs to this river-loving tradition. Okay, the rivers not just influence their trade and travel, they also influence their culture, their stories, the kind of clothes that people wore, the kind of food that they ate, right? Their music. And Bhatiyali also belongs to this riverine tradition, right? In the eastern part of India, as you can see here, there is this big, region which is called the Ganga-Brahmaputra Delta. It is where two big rivers, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra, they meet and then they spread out into a number of big and small tributaries. So in this region, there are a lot of rivers. All these squiggly blue lines that you see are actually rivers. It is believed that at one point in time, there were about 800 rivers in this region. Many have dried up, but at one point in time, there were these many rivers in the region. Majis, as they were called, were very, very central to their community life. They were called Majis. The boatmen were called Majis. Okay? They used to ferry people from one bank of the river to the other. They used to carry goods around. And what is interesting is that they never used to charge anything for their services. The people of these communities used to share their harvest. They used to share their produce with the Majis. Why? Because the people of these villages believed that if they did not share a part of their harvest with the Maji, then when the time comes for them to cross the river of life after they die, when they need to move from this world to the next, the divine Maji or God wouldn't help them. So Majis or boatmen were very, very central to their community life. Each village had a designated dock and a designated Maji. Okay? Okay. folklore. Now, in these riverside communities, there are a lot of stories that are about rivers and boats and margis. So their folklore is also very, very intricately tied to boats and rivers. For example, there is a very popular folklore there, which is around this folk deity, folk goddess, whose name is considered the goddess of snakes. Okay, and the legend goes, the myth goes, that there was once this very, very rich and proud, wealthy merchant whose name was Chand Saudagar, and he refused to worship goddess Manasa because he was very rich and proud. So one day what he'd done was he had sort of loaded a lot of his boats with very expensive stuff, and he had set them off for distant lands. But because goddess Manasa was very, very angry with him, she sank his boats mid-cargo and sent a snake to kill his youngest son, whose name was Lakhinder. So Lakhinder died on the spot, but he had a wife who was very, very brave. Her name was Bihula. So Bihula took charge and she said, this cannot happen, goddess Manasa cannot do this. So she loaded the dead body of her husband on a boat and she sailed through many, many rivers to reach the heaven, and then she reasoned it out with goddess Manasa. Goddess Manasa was extremely moved by her determination, so she brought her husband back to life. Okay, so that's the story, and you can see that even in the story, boats and river and boatmen, Behula herself is somebody who sort of plies the oars, right? So these are very, very important aspect of elements of this story, right? This story is often told through Patachitra, which is the traditional folk art form of Bengal. Have we ever heard of this folk art before? Patachitra. Pat means cloth and Chitra means painting. So these are basically paintings that are done on cloth. Okay, and there are Patuas, the painter storytellers of Bengal. Traditionally, they used to carry these long scroll paintings from one village to the other, and they would tell these stories. They would unfurl these Patachitras and they would tell these stories. Okay, so this is a Patachitra that depicts the story of Manasa Devi, Behula and Lakhinder. Can we all see boats in this Patachitra painting? Yes, there are boats, there's a river, there are fishes, right? Yeah, so this tells us that boats were very important aspect of the communities that lived around these rivers. Okay, there are many different kinds of boats also that are native to Bengal. So there are 100 different boat designs that come from Bengal. And each of these designs is very, very specific to, the purpose of that boat and also the river conditions. So for example, the boat on left-hand side, top left-hand side, is actually a boat which is called dinghy. It is a small boat and it works very, very fine in rivers that have weak currents. For rivers that have strong currents, there's another boat which is called kosha. If you look at the construction of the boat, you will see that it has a pointed front. Why does it have a pointed front? Because it can cut across water. It can also float against the stream, right? The construction or the design of the boat also depends on what that boat is supposed to do. So for example, if there is a boat that is supposed to carry hay, hay is piled high on top of a boat. So the center of gravity of the boat becomes very, very high, right? So that's why they've created a boat which is flat bottomed, which is broad, so that the center of gravity is not that high. Okay, this boat is called Khor Kishti. Khor is hay, and it is a boat that is supposed to carry hay. That's why it is called Khor Kishti. Okay, there's another boat which is meant to carry wood. Now wood is very, very heavy as compared to hay, right? So the major challenge for a boat that is supposed to carry wood is how to make it float, because it is very, very heavy, right? So the craftsmen who craft these boats have created a boat that is very, very deep. It has a V-shaped hull, right? So you'll see, like when you look at all these different kinds of boat designs that come from Bengal, you'll see that a lot of thought has gone into the creation of these boats. Okay? So a lot of different boats come from Bengal. There are 100 different designs that come from Bengal. Now coming back to Majhis or the boatmen, so when they used to, ferry people around from one bank of the river to the other, they would sometimes be stranded in the Ganga Brahmaputra delta for a very, very long time. Sometimes even months. They were alone, right? They were separated from their families and they had to continuously ply their oars to stay on course. So they also felt very, very bored, right? If you were in a boat for a very, very long time, all alone, separated from your families and feeling a little bored, what would you do? How would you entertain yourself?
I sing a song.
Okay, you sing a song. What else?
We'll look here and then
Okay,
out
you
of
look
nature.
around at the passing scenery. Okay.
Ma'am, watching movies.
Watching movies on a boat? On a boat. You're all alone in a boat. You have to continuously ply your oar and you're far away from your family. So what will you do?
Fishing.
Fishing. Okay. So then you'll have to park your boat somewhere and fish. Okay.
Enjoy the beautiful nature.
You'll enjoy the beautiful nature. Lovely.
I will play with my friends.
You don't have friends there. You're all alone. You'll think, right? Yeah? You'll wonder. You'll wonder about your life, about your friends, about your family, right? What else?
If I go with my family, if there is one jungle safari, I am traveling in a boat. So we can see animals, my cousin, we can see my animals.
Okay. So there's no one with you. You're not on a jungle safari. You're in a boat, all alone. Yes. Anyone else? Anyone else? Any responses? Okay. So some of you said that you'll sing, right? Yeah. That is exactly what happened with the boatmen of Bengal as well. Nurtured by their loneliness, in all that, quiet with only silent waters of the river for their company, they started thinking about their lives. Has it ever happened to you? You have stood in front of a huge mountain and wondered how small you really are? Has it ever happened to you? You look at the big sky and you look at the twinkling stars and you wonder, how big is this universe? I'm such a small part of this universe. Have you ever thought like that? Nature has this way of making us question ourselves. Why are we here? Where will we go after we die? What is our place in this world? When you stand face to face with nature, all these questions about your own existence start to appearing in your head. That is why these questions are called existential questions. What are these called? Existential queries or questions. Okay? So because these boatmen were all alone with only this huge river, they started talking to the river. They started questioning their own existence. Where is this river of life taking us? Who is the boatman who's sort of, plying the oars of my boat? Why am I here? So all these reflections took form of songs. And they started singing these songs. So they weren't really singing for an audience. They were singing for themselves. They were asking these questions to themselves and perhaps to the river. These were all reflections that took form of these beautiful songs. So that's why Bhatiyali, as a folk music tradition, it blends into a musical trend which is called Deha Tattva. Deha, do we all know the meaning of the word Deha? Deha is the human body, right? Tattva is substance, the philosophy of the human body. So they wondered about the experience of being a human person, right? A human. Okay? Yeah? So that's why you'll find that in a lot of these Bhatyali songs, river is used as a metaphor for the human life. What do we mean by the word metaphor? Do we all know what metaphor is? No? So when you compare two things, okay, and when you say, this thing is similar to the other. So for example, if I say this classroom is a zoo, is it actually a zoo? I am saying it is like a zoo, right? Yeah? Or if I say she is an angel, is she actually an angel? No, but I am saying she is like an angel without using the word like. When we use like or as, it becomes simile. But when I say, okay, she is an angel or this classroom is a zoo, then it is a metaphor. I am comparing two things, right? So in Bhatyali songs, river is often used as a metaphor for human life. Is our life a little like a river? Yeah? Yes? No? Maybe? Yes? How? How is a human life a little like a river?
In our body there are organs, and in river also there are some organs.
Okay.
The water flows in the rivers and blood flows in our body.
Okay. Through the course of our life, there are many twists and turns, right? There are many experiences that we gather over the course of our life, right? The river also goes through a lot of twists and bends, right? Yeah? During the course of our life, we gather experiences, memories, right? The river also gathers a lot of things, stones and dried leaves and twigs and everything. Yeah? Yeah? So our life is a little like a river. So that's why in these songs you will find that river is used as a symbol or as a metaphor for life. Okay? Boat is used as a metaphor for the human body. How is a boat a little like the human body?
Because the human made the boat.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone from the back? Yes. Okay, so human body is a vessel, right? It's a vessel for all the human experiences, right? And boat is also a vessel that travels through the river, right? We are traveling through our lives and boats are traveling through a river, right? So there is a certain similarity. That's why boats are used as a metaphor for the human body. And the boatman is used as a metaphor for, any guesses? What could boatman be used as a symbol for? Somebody who's guiding us through the course of life. Who is guiding us?
Our parents.
Our parents, okay, yes.
Our teachers.
Our teachers, yes. Maps, okay. Anyone else? Maybe God? A divine consciousness? Yes? Yeah? So in a lot of these Bhatyali songs, boatmen or oarsmen often refer to the divine being who is guiding us through the course of life. Okay? As a symbol for God. Okay? Yeah? Okay. Now why the word Bhatyali? Why is this folk tradition called Bhatyali? Now Bhatyali comes from the Hindi word bhata, jwar bhata. Have you heard of the word jwar bhata? No? Jwar bhata is basically tides high tide and low tide. Jwar is high tide and bhata is low tide. What are tides? Why do tides happen? Anyone? Yes.
Or of moon.
Because of the gravitational pull of the moon. That's correct, right? So when there is low tide or bhata, the river becomes very, very calm and wide. And during that time, the boatmen stop rowing their boats. They let the winds carry them. Okay? So the pace of the boat or the speed of the boat becomes very, very slow. It becomes very, very drifting. And that is exactly how Bhatiyali songs also sound. They're slow in nature. They have a very drifting pace. So that's why from Bhata comes the word Bhatiyali. Okay? Yeah? And you know the structure of these songs also mirror a river. So for example, Bhatiyali songs usually start at a very high pitch, like river gurgling at the source. And slowly they settle into a very slower, smoother pace, just like the river. And this, you know how a song sort of reflects the place it comes from is true for all folk music traditions in India. The folk music actually responds to the place, the culture of that place. So for example, if you listen to the folk music traditions of, you know, the mountainside communities, you'll find that these are songs that are often sung on a very high pitch. Like these are echoes between the mountains. And the songs that come from forest communities in central India, for example, they are very, very soft, as if these are like whispers between the trees. So all these folk songs respond to the places they come from. Okay? Are we all clear? Yeah? Do you have any questions? Otherwise, we'll move on to the activity. Anyone? No questions? Okay. Now, yes.
What are margins?
Sorry?
Margis.
Majis. Majis are basically boatmen. So the people who row the boats are called Majis in Bangla. The song that we just heard a while back is actually in the Bengali language. Okay? Because these songs come from Bengal. These are songs sung by boatmen or Majis. Right? Yeah? Anyone else? Okay, now we'll move on to the activity. We'll all write our own river songs. We'll all become river poets and we'll write our own songs. Okay? A song has many, many paragraphs. What are these paragraphs called? Stanzas. Lovely. So a song has many stanzas, but we'll only be writing the first stanza. Okay? If you like your song, you can go back home and you can add more stanzas to it. Right? Yeah? But first things first, not all songs and not all poems have to rhyme. So this is not going to be a rhyming song. It is going to flow like a river. Okay? There are going to be 5 lines in this stanza. I'll tell you how to write each of these lines one by one. Okay? So we listen carefully to the instructions and then we'll start writing. Are we all clear? So should we give you the sheets and do you all have pencils and pens handy? Okay, so we'll give you the sheets. Where are the sheets? For the first line, you have to imagine that you're floating down a river, a big river in your small boat, okay? When you look around, you see trees passing by. When you look up, you see the giant sky. You hear beautiful birds. Okay? You feel the breeze on your face. Okay? So in that moment, you're all alone. So in that moment, if there was one thing that you want to tell the river, if you could talk to the river, what is that one thing that you will tell the river? Okay, I'll show you what I have written. I drift like a leaf in your arms. I follow your path with no map. Okay? Now, if you could talk to the river, what is that one thing that you would like to tell the river? That is going to be the first line of the poem. Are we all clear with the instructions? Any questions? Okay, great. Okay, whoever is done can come up here and share their first line with the rest of our friends. Okay, we'll take the first 5 responses. You can write whatever comes to your mind. Don't overthink it.
Kritika. Trees go back, I and you alone here.
So trees go back, I and you alone here. Lovely. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Anyone else who's done? Come. Your name and then read out the first line.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sanvi. Hey river, you gives us water for our life.
Hey river, you give just water for our life. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Anyone else who's done? Someone from the back. Are we done? Come, I'll read it for you. Come. Oh, you've written so many lines. Yes.
You are alone. No, no, no. I am with you. You don't know me. I am a river.
That's so beautiful. You are alone. No, no, no. I am with you. Who? You don't know me. I am river, river. Lovely. That's beautiful. Thank you. I am in a river. That could be the first line. Lovely. Okay. Anyone?
My name is Araf.
Okay.
I am flood with river in which I go, and the wind cover up my eyes. I drink the clear water you give me. Done.
I am flooded with river in which I go, and the wind covers up my eyes. I drink the water you give me. So nice, lovely. Okay. Now the second line. The first line was about the river, right? The second line is going to be about the boat. So where is your boat going? Is it sailing home? Is it lost? Remember, boat is also a metaphor for the human body, right? So this line could also reflect about you and your journey through life. So at what point are you on your journey in life? Okay? Yeah? Absolutely. You can absolutely compare the boat with your body. Okay? This is what I have written. I row my boat to a shore I've never seen. There's sky above and water below. Where does my boat go? Okay? So the second line is going to be about the boat. Are the instructions clear? Okay. Great.
You and me are all alone here. You and me are both same. We both have body and organs and blood.
Lovely. That's beautiful. Yes. Can you pass on the mic
The river is twisted like my muscles.
The river is twisted like my muscles. Lovely. Okay.
I'm lost in the nature and its beauty very much.
Lovely. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Anyone from here?
You are with me.
Lovely. That's beautiful. Yes.
I am lost in your water. I am going to my home. Can you please help me? Hey river, can you please help me? I am very all alone.
Lovely. Lovely. That's beautiful.
Floating in the river, boating in the river. You are with river and I am with you. Dear boat, you are made up of wooden and I am made with bones. Boating with you, I like that you are my friend.
Okay. Lovely. Okay, so now the third line of this song. Now Bhatyali songs are loaded with feelings. Remember we heard that Bhatyali song, right, by Himangu Biswas, right at the beginning of this session, and a lot of you said that you felt a little lonely while listening to that song, you felt a little sad. So Bhatyali songs are filled with a lot of emotions, okay? So in that boat, all alone, how are you feeling? Are you feeling lonely? Are you missing someone? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling dreamy? Are you feeling happy? So choose one feeling and then write a line to show that feeling. Okay? This is what I have written. I sing to the wind, but it brings no reply. I've written that line. So how am I feeling? I sing to the wind, but it brings no reply. What feeling does it reflect? The first line. Loneliness? Yes. Yes. I'm missing someone? Yes. The second line, I grip the oar, I can't let it go. How am I feeling? Sad. Sad. What else? Sorry? Happy. I grip the oar, I can't let it go. How am I feeling? Am I feeling happy? Sad. Sad, lonely, what else? Am I feeling a little scared? I'm holding the oar. I can't let it go. Why? Because I'm feeling very, very scared. If I let the oar go, I might just sink. Right? So the first line shows loneliness, longing, I'm missing someone. The second line, I'm feeling a little scared. Right? So these are two, different feelings that I've tried to depict in these two lines. So you can choose your feeling and you can write a line that shows that feeling. Okay? So think of a feeling first and then try and write a line around that feeling. Okay? Are the instructions clear? Okay, great.
Going with you without a map. I don't know where you are taking me, but I am with you. Don't feel alone.
Lovely.
Hey river, why you are not replying? I sing but there is no reply.
Lovely.
When you will broken down, then I will alone.
Okay, I'll be alone. Okay, lovely. Loneliness. Yes.
I feel lonely and little bit scared.
I feel lonely and a little bit scared. Yes.
I feel that you are my friend, but I am very alone with you and boat, and I am very sad in nature.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Okay, so the next step is choose a refrain. What is a refrain? Yes, what is a refrain? While writing, especially poems or song, we use this word very, very often. Refrain. So refrain is actually a part of a poem or a song that often gets repeated. Okay? There might be songs that we've all heard where a part of that song has often been repeated, right? So those repeated parts are called refrains, okay? And Bhatyali usually has a part that gets repeated. In every stanza it gets repeated. In the second last line. In this stanza it's the second last line, okay? In Bangla it is called Paliya. So a part of the Bhatyali song that gets repeated is called a Paliya, okay? There are some common, refrains that are used in Bhatyali songs. These are Majhi Re, O boatman, Nodi Re, meaning O river, Dheere Cholo Re, which means go slow, Kaun dike jaye Majhi, meaning which way should I go, O boatman. Okay, so these are some common refrains that are used in Bhatyali songs. So your fourth line could either be one of these, the options that we already have, or you could also create your own refrain, a line that will get repeated in every stanza. So if you go back home and add more stanzas to your song, then the fourth line is always going to be the same. Okay, are we all clear? Yeah? So what is the refrain that you're choosing? Are you choosing one of these, or are you creating your own? Creating your own? So if you're creating your own, and if you're done, then you can come up here and share. Okay?
Said that you are my friend, but you can please help me because I am very alone with you and boat.
Okay. So, O boatman, go slow, O river. These are short refrains, right? So refrains are usually very, very short and tight. Yes.
Not if you there will not there, so I feel sad. If you there, so I feel happy.
Okay.
Take me safely to my spot.
Okay. Hey river, take me safely to my stanzas. This is going to be the fourth line, right? Okay. Yes. Anyone else? Should we move on to the fifth line then? Okay. So this is the last line of the first stanza. Bhatyali songs usually end with a thought-provoking question. Okay? So after you've heard that song, you think about that song. Okay? So it questions you. Okay? So what is that final thought or final question that you want the listener to think about? That is going to be the last line of this stanza. This is what I've written. Will my voice reach the one I left behind? Where does the river end? And does anyone know? So it's usually the last line of every stanza of a Bhatyali song is a thought-provoking question. Something that makes you question yourself. Okay? So that is going to be the last line of the first stanza.
Hey river, you gives us water for our life. You and me are all alone here. You and me are both same. We both have body and organs and blood. Hey boat, I am going with you without a map. I don't know where you are taking me, but I am with you. Don't feel alone. Oh river, I am a boatman. Please take me to my spot. Hey river, where will you end, and where will you allow me to park my boat?
Lovely. Let's give it a big hand, everyone. So nice. Thank you, teacher. Yes.
Hey river, why you ain't? I want to enjoy a beautiful nature.
Lovely. Read out the entire stanza. This is the last line, right? Do you want to read out the entire stanza? No. Okay. You want to finish it once you go back home. Okay.
Trees go back, I and you alone here. I am lost in the nature and its beauty very much. No one is here to sound my feelings. We are all alone in the scary night. Your water is flowing very, very fast. Where do you die? Will I reach my destination?
Lovely. That's so beautiful. Thank you. A big round of applause, everyone, for yes. Okay.
Hey river, there is sky and trees, but I could not find you. Where are you? Hey river, where are you? Why are you not replying? I sing, but there is no reply. Hey river, where we are going?
Lovely. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes. Yes.
My destination with boat, but you are feeling alone.
Lovely. Yes. Yes.
No,
No, not at all.
all.
Not at all.
I'm not a poet, okay, but still,
That's fine.
you taught
No one here is a
me. You
poet.
taught me
That's
to compose.
absolutely fine.
Yeah. Thy soothing lap, O river, gladdens me like a heaven. Lost, lost, lost I am in the world devoid of men. Thou art my life or the end. Choose what thou wish to. Lift me up. Oh, will you lift me up? Anyways, thou be engulfed in the sea and make me the part of it.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Really nice. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
You always take me to the right way. Who are you? I am the river. I am the river. If I am lost on the way, you take me, little boat. You are my favorite way to my home. I always feel dreamy when I travel with you. I feel like I am in beautiful and joyful world. Hey river, don't go away. Please wait, I am coming on the way. How this wonderful world end, I don't understand. Does anyone know?
Lovely. Thank you so much for sharing. Really nice. Yes.
Who is all alone, all alone, all alone? Who is all alone? I am with you. Oh, you are a river. Oh, are you? Who are you? I am the man who floats the boat on the river. Who is you? Who is you? I am a river who is all alone, all alone, all alone. Why the river floats every time? You don't get tired?
Lovely. That's such a beautiful ending to the last line is really nice. Thank you.
I am calm like water. I love to be alone in boat. I felt that I am so alone, but I am happy. Hey boat, I am so alone. Take me to my destination. How feel you that the sound or calmness of the water?
Okay. Okay, so once you want to share? Yes. Okay, so once you go back home, you can finish your songs. You can add more stanzas to the song, like we did in the first stanza. So there'll be 5 lines in each of these stanzas, and you can add more stanzas to your song. Okay, so yes, you want to say something? Yeah.
Boat was falling down from the river. The nature are beautiful here. When you will broken down, then I will alone. Oh river, you are helping me. Because I was alone with boat and you. A long distance I travel with river. Where you go, I was alone.
Yes.
I am alone. Where are you going? I am alone. Come back.
Okay. Okay, so which folk music tradition did we learn? What is it called? Bhatiyali, that's right. And what are these songs? These are songs of the boatmen of Bengal. Okay, so there are 9 other folk music traditions in the book. So you can read the book and you can find out more about the other folk traditions that we have in India, folk music traditions that we have in India. Okay, if you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. If not, then we'll move on. There is another book in the same series that I've written. We'll talk about that book then. I hope you guys aren't tired. Are you? Do you need a 5-minute break? No? Okay. Any questions? Yes. Yes.
The refrains usually go in the fourth line, right?
Not
Fourth line in the stanza.
Yeah, in the song that I have written, the refrain is the 4th line, but it depends. It could also be the last line of each stanza.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but then you said the last line has to be a thought-provoking
Yeah,
question.
so the refrain could be a thought-provoking idea also.
Okay, so can it be considered as one of the figures of speech that
Yes,
we have
absolutely.
in repetition, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so
Yeah.
much, ma'am.
Thank
You were very vividly, you have explained everything. We all really enjoyed,
I'm
ma'am.
so glad. Did you have a good time? Yeah, learning about Bhatyali? Yes? Okay, great. Okay, so in the same series, I have this other book which is called 10 Indian Art Mysteries That Have Never Been Solved. Okay, so the first book was about the folk music traditions of India. This is about the art traditions of India. Okay, right? And as the title suggests, it is a book that delves deep into the mysteries behind the greatest works of Indian art and its creators. Okay, now those of you here who like history, give me a cheer. How many of you here like history? I absolutely love history. So is history something that is related only to the past, or history is also related to our present? Yes.
It's something that is related to our present and past.
Absolutely. So it is related to our present in a way that it informs our present, right? Yeah. So if, for example, if you are on a journey and if you want to figure out how much distance you have covered, it will be important for you to know where you began from, right? So that is, if we want to understand why we are what we are today, it is important to know our history, right? Yeah, and is history something that is only in textbooks or in museums, or history is all around us? All around us, right? If you look around in your own home, you'll find objects that have a certain history. So for example, if you open your mother's cupboard and you pick out a sari that belongs to your great grandmother, it's an object of history, right? There are certain recipes that are sort of there are certain dishes that are cooked at your place which are objects of history, right? They tell you about who sort of came up with this recipe, who cooked it first, right? Yeah. So all objects, if you look at them very, very carefully, very, very intently, you will find that all these objects are a link between the past and the present. Okay? Yeah, so that is what historians do. A part of their job is also to study objects. They research objects, they collect a lot of information about these objects, and then they make very, very informed guesses about these objects to sort of fill, to put together the pieces of history. Right? So that's what historians do, and that is what we are going to be doing today. We'll all don historians' hats and we'll make assumptions about certain objects of history. Okay? Now what are these objects? These are objects that belong to my grandmother. I'm carrying a few objects with me. So what you have to do is look at those objects, guess what those objects are, and looking at those objects you will have to guess things about my grandmother. Okay? Are the instructions clear? Should I show you the first object? Okay. this is what I have here. What is this? Can you all see? Okay, I'll come here. It's a tweezer, okay. Cutter? No. It's not a nail cutter.
Of a cutter.
It is a type of a cutter, that's right. But what do you cut with this? What do you cut with this? It's a supari cutter. It's a beetle nut cracker. Okay? Now, you have to make assumptions about my grandmother looking at this beetle nut cracker. Yes. Yes. Anyone? What do you think my grandmother did with this? सुपारी काटती थी. क्यों काटती थी? खाने के लिए. तो मे बी वो पान खाती थी, सुपारी खाती थी, और क्या गैसेस हैं? assumptions कुछ?
For giving it to guests.
Okay. Okay. What else? Any other guesses? Yes.
For helping
Okay. ठीक है. क्या पान बनाना उनका प्रोफेशन हो सकता था? है ना? है ना? तो हो सकता है उनका प्रोफेशन हो पान बनाना. और any other assumptions, guesses? Cutting supari, that's correct. But what did she cut supari for? Either for her own consumption, या तो वो खुद पान खाती थी, या वो बना के बेचती थी, और
if she likes to eat supari, so anytime she can eat.
Okay, all right. और कोई? क्या वो क्राफ्ट्स पर्सन हो सकती थी जो ये सरोता बनाती थी? क्यों नहीं? क्या पता वो ऐसे बहुत सारे बनाती हूँ बीटल नट क्रैकर, है ना? तो एक ऑब्जेक्ट को देख के हम उसके बारे में we can make a lot of assumptions, right? What historians do is that they make informed assumptions, meaning they research it a lot, they collect a lot of evidences, and then they make assumptions. Okay, right now we are just guessing, right? But historians don't do that. They work with a certain responsibility, right? तो ऑब्जेक्ट्स को देख के हम इस तरह से हिस्ट्री के कंक्लूजन्स पे पहुंचते हैं. ठीक है? Now I'll show you the second object that I have here. Okay, this is the second object that I have. Okay, we'll raise our hands. It's not an ink pen. Now can you guess?
Then this is like a spoon.
Is it a spoon? No. कुछ रखने के लिए. You close. ये कुछ रखने के लिए है. Yes. So there is a cavity here, and you put something here. What do you put here? Haldi kumkum. You close. सुपारी कहाँ आएगी इसमें? अच्छा. Okay. If I do this, that's right. जो लैम्प सूट जो निकलता था पुराने ज़माने में, उसको यहाँ पे स्टोर करते थे कि काजल के लिए होता था और ये सुरमे के लिए होता था. दिस इज कॉल्ड कजरौता और काजल लता. इन बांग्ला इट इज कॉल्ड काजल लता. जब शादी होती है तो जो ब्राइड होती है वो इसको पकड़ के जो है फेरे लेती है, क्योंकि ऐसा माना जाता है कि ब्राइड को नजर नहीं लगेगी. इसमें काजल होता है ना, तो ब्लैक कलर जो होता है वो नज़र को काटने के लिए होता है. तो दिस इज कॉल्ड अ काजल लता और अ कजरौता. ठीक है. अब इससे मेरी दादी के बारे में कुछ गैस करिए. वो काजल लगाती थी, एब्सोल्युटली. और कुछ? नजर ना लगे. ओके. Maybe this was a wedding gift जो उनको मिला था. What else? Do we have a mic to pass around, please?
Ma'am, she might be making kajal.
Yes, maybe she was making kajal. Absolutely. और कुछ?
She might be selling it.
Okay. Maybe she was a salesperson who sold these kajrotas. Okay, lovely. Anyone else? Okay. Now we'll move on to the third thing. This is very, very simple. I think all of you will be able to guess. This we all know. Yes. It's a hairpin. That's right. That's right. It's a hairpin. So, she used to wear a pin in her hair, or maybe she made these, or maybe she sold these, right? Now the last object that I have here is this. Is it a bansuri? It's a pen. That's right. What kind of a pen is it? So this is called a reed pen. Okay? इसको reed बोलते हैं. ठीक है? तो अब इससे assumption लगाइए. वो लिखने का काम करती. Maybe she was a writer. What else?
Might be she was selling.
Maybe she used to make these and sell reed pens. Okay. What else?
She is writing stories.
Maybe she wrote stories. Okay.
Might be she crafts.
Okay. She was a crafts person who used to craft these pens. Right. Anyone else? Yes.
She write the book.
Okay. She used to write books.
Then maybe she author.
She was an author. Could she be a painter? You also make pen and ink drawings, right? What else? Yes.
They make paintings with that.
Okay. Okay. What else? Could she be a calligrapher? Calligrapher क्या होते हैं? कौन होते हैं? Yes.
Who writes the beautiful?
That's right. So calligraphy is the art of beautiful handwriting. है ना? तो जो हाथ से सुंदर सुंदर लिखते हैं उनको calligraphers बोलते हैं. तो maybe she was a calligrapher. है ना? Okay. Any other guesses? Okay. So now we understand कि objects को देख के we can tell their history, right? Partly. If we research the objects more, we'll be able to arrive at more informed assumptions or conclusions about those objects and about history as well. Right? अब ये जो किताब है, this book is about art history. ठीक है? So what kind of objects do art historians look at? Paintings, lovely. What else? Portraits, yes. Stones, sculptures, yes. Artifacts. Sketching. Crafting. Sorry, maps? Maps you said? Facts, yes, they look at facts, of course. Pottery, yes. Footprints, okay. Monuments, yes. Fingerprints, okay. Okay. So this book is about art history, and art history, you know, is a very visual side of history. So a lot of art historians study the objects of art, right? And it's really not about, you know, dusty dates and very, very esoteric concepts. It's very thrilling. Indian art history is very, very thrilling. It's almost like a thriller. So you'll find, lost masterpieces in these stories. You'll find buried treasures. You'll find very, very cryptic clues. You'll find a lot of intriguing characters in Indian art history. And I studied art history, and at that time I realized that there are so many stories in art history that are so, so interesting. And that's why I wrote this book. So there are 10 art mysteries in this book. Because we don't have much time, so we won't be able to talk about all the mysteries, but I'll share a few with you. Okay? So the first mystery actually begins with a story. Okay, this happened a fairly long time ago. There was this famous archaeologist at that time whose name was Dr. Vishnu Sridhar Vakankar. Okay, he was lovingly called Hari Bhau. What was the name of the archaeologist? Vishnu Sridhar Vakankar. Okay, who's an archaeologist? Do we all know what archaeologists do? What do they do? What do archaeologists do? They are scientists who study the material remains of history, material remains of the past. So shards of pottery, old tools, right? The fabrics that they find. So they do a lot of excavation. They dig the ground, and whatever they find, they study those things. Okay, so those are people, the scientists who do that are called archaeologists. Yes?
History.
Yes, they study history, absolutely.
They find old things that have made by old people's
That's
tribes.
Right. That's right.
Whatever things they found, they research about that.
Absolutely. So Hari Bhau was an archaeologist, and in 1957 he was traveling from Bhopal to Itarsi. So there are these two places in Madhya Pradesh. So he was traveling by train, and he was lucky enough to get a window seat. So he was sitting by the window and he was looking out at the passing scenery. And suddenly he saw a series of low hills that caught his attention. Now what was so special about these hills? These hills were jutting out in unusual shapes, as if they were hewn by a giant big hammer. Okay? And when he looked at those hills, his archaeological antenna sort of started twitching. Something told him that there is something very, very special about these hills. But before he could realize that, the train had already moved on. So what did he do? What did Hari Bhau do? He got down at the next station and he made his way up to these hills. Okay? And so these were not really hills, these were like rock shelters. So this is what they looked like. And when he looked at the underside of the first rock shelter, what did he see? What do you think he saw? Pictures, that's right. He saw paintings. What kind of paintings? So these were paintings of stick-figured humans. We all draw stick figures, right? We all know how to draw stick figures, right? In Worli, for example, a lot of stick figures are used, right? Yeah? So there were a lot of these paintings had stick-figured humans and animals, very recognizable animals. And because he had a background in archaeology, he was a very, very famous archaeologist, the realization dawned upon him that maybe he's standing in front of the earliest evidence of human history. Maybe he's standing in front of prehistoric paintings. Now, what do we mean by prehistoric paintings? What do we mean by prehistory? Prehistory is basically history which was before history came to be written down. Before we even knew how to write, there was a history, and that history is called prehistory. So it is history before history. Okay? So he realized that these drawings actually belong to prehistoric humans. These were done by early humans, ancient humans. Okay? Now that is an assumption that he made. And once, historians or archaeologists, when they make an assumption, they have to substantiate the assumption with certain evidences, right? Yeah? So what he did was, he put together a team of 16 archaeologists and he researched these sites for many, many years. I think he researched this site for over over 15 years. Okay? And then in that area, he found about 700 of these rock shelters, out of which 500 had these paintings. They also started a lot of excavation work. They started digging the ground and they found some stone tools. These tools actually, belong to early humans from 100,000 years ago to 3,000 years ago, from the Paleolithic age to the Mesolithic age, the early part of Stone Age to the middle part of Stone Age. Okay? And this place that he found was a place called Bhimbetka. Now Bhimbetka, does that ring a bell, the name Bhimbetka? Do we all know the story of Mahabharata?
Yes.
Yes? So it is a story of two warring cousins, the Kauravas and the Pandavas. How many Pandavas were there? 5. What were their names? Who will tell me? Raise your hands. Yes.
Arjun, Yudhishthir, Bhim, Nakul, Sahadev.
That's right. So the second Pandav, Bhim, it is believed that Kauravas sort of banished the Pandavas out of their kingdom and all these Pandavas stayed in different places. So it is believed that the second Pandav, Bhim, actually stayed in these caves, and that's why these caves or rock shelters are called Bhimbetka or Bhim Ki Baitak, the seat of Bhim. Okay? These rock shelters are about 45 kilometers from Bhopal. Right? Now we come to the most important question, which is, why do you think early humans created these paintings?
Do not have the specific language.
Okay. Because they did not have a language, okay. To communicate with each other, okay.
To show that I am the nice painter.
Sorry?
To show that I am the nice painter.
Okay. So they wanted to show off their skills. They wanted to tell everyone that we paint really well. So that's why they created these paintings. Okay. To show their emotions, right? Okay. So a lot of early historians and early researchers believed that they created these paintings because they thought that if they created a likeness of the animal on the walls of these rock shelters, then they will have a control over that animal. So it was almost like helpful magic. So today you draw something on the wall, tomorrow you will be able to hunt that animal. Because they were hunter-gatherers, right? They lived largely by hunting and gathering, right? So a lot of early researchers believed that. But the later historians sort of countered that idea, and they said it wasn't really just helpful magic. There could be many reasons to why they created these paintings. Maybe they were drawing their hunting strategies on these walls. Maybe it was a piece of wall ornamentation. They lived in these caves, so that's why they decorated these caves. Maybe it was for some ritualistic purpose. They had some rituals at that time. Because of those rituals, they created these paintings. Maybe they were just a bored lot. We all doodle, right? Yeah, whenever we get bored in class, we start doodling on the margins of our notebook, right? So maybe they were just a bored lot. They didn't have TV back then or mobile phones back then. So that's why they started doodling on the walls. So we don't know the exact reason as to why they created these paintings, but these paintings are there in every sort of civilization that we have in the world. Okay? And one of the most favorite of their subjects is animals. Okay? So they've drawn a lot of different animals in Bhimbetka as well. There are about 29 different species of animals that are drawn in, Bhimbetka rock shelters. There's also a very, special rock in Bhimbetka which is called the zoo rock. So it has a lot of different animals grouped together. Imagine an entire zoo on a single rock. So you'll find sambar, you'll find, boar, you'll find monkeys, you'll find elephant on this rock. Okay, it is called the zoo rock. These are the kind of, drawings of animals that they've done. But what is very, very interesting is that while the animals are drawn realistically, you can sort of recognize the animals that they've drawn, humans are drawn as stick figures. Okay, so they've used, abstraction. A stick figure is an abstraction, right? Yeah? What do we mean by abstraction? What is abstract art? Anyone? Do stick figure humans look like actual humans? No, right? But you can tell that it's a human. Right? So that's what abstraction is. When you look at something with your mind's eye, okay? It's not realistic in the sense, it's not drawn as it appears to your eye, as it appears to your mind's eye. So you can tell it's a human, but it's not a human drawn realistically. So that is what in art, that is what abstraction is. Okay? So stick-figured humans are an abstraction, but animals are drawn very, very realistically. There are some animals in Bhimbetka which are drawn with an X-ray sort of a vision. So for example, there is a cow in Bhimbetka which has 2 babies inside its belly. So that tells us that, these early humans were very familiar with the anatomy of the animal. They knew the insides of the animal as well because they were hunters. So a lot of these animals are drawn realistically in Bhimbetka. Okay? Now this is another rock that is there in Bhimbetka, which is called the auditorium rock. Do you see these depressions on the surface of the rock? Right? These depressions are called copules. And it is believed that, the rock surface was scooped out by early humans. Why did they scoop out the rock surface? Again, historians think that it was because of some ritual that they had, but we do not know of that ritual. We don't know what that ritual was. This rock is right at the beginning, right at the entrance of the Bhimbetka caves. It is called the auditorium rock. Okay? One of the most beautiful paintings that you'll find in Bhimbetka are those of dancers. So there are many different stick figures that are sort of strung together in long rows. There are sometimes as many as 40 different dancers in a row. And these paintings of dancers kind of tell us about, these are the earliest evidence of music and dance in ancient India. Okay? Now, does it remind you of a tribal art form that we have? Varli, exactly. So it is believed that Varli art is actually inspired by prehistoric art. Okay? So this is a painting that you find in Bhimbetka of dancers. Now, many people from different eras sort of use the Bhimbetka rock shelters as their canvas. So you'll find many different kinds of paintings, one on top of the other in Bhimbetka. Okay, so they did not, the later humans did not erase the paintings that were done previously. They drew on top of it. But thematically they are very, very different. So early paintings have, animals and stick-figured humans and hunting scenes and dancers. But later paintings have, royal processions, horse-drawn chariots, these kind of themes. Okay, so by looking at these paintings, you can tell that these paintings were done when a more settled way of life had begun. Okay, so there are many layers of paintings on the rock shelters of Bhimbetka. Yes?
How did they draw it?
They drew it with natural colors. So they sort of obtained the pigments from leaves and rocks and minerals, and they drew with those pigments. Okay?
They used rocks also to make.
That's right. So they used a lot of rocks, yes. They obtained pigments from rocks and minerals. That's right. Okay? So this was about Bhimbetka. A lot about prehistoric art we already know, but there are still, things about prehistoric art that we do not know about. Right? Like, why did they create these paintings? What kind of rituals did they have at that time? When did the early humans have, a fully formed brain to sort of take the final leap of imagination and they started drawing these paintings? So all these things we do not know about. Okay? So maybe you can, research and find out more about the Bhimbetka paintings. And you can help art historians and archaeologists crack this mystery of Bhimbetka. Yeah? So this was about prehistoric art. Now we'll move on to the second mystery, which is very, very interesting. And I'll show you a painting. This is a picture, and I'm sure all of you will be able to guess who this person is. Gautam Buddha. We all know that. But did Gautam Buddha actually look like this? Okay. So till about 600 years after Buddha's death, no image or idol or sculpture of him was ever created. Okay? Why? Because it is believed that Buddha said that I want people to only worship my only follow my teachings and not worship my idol or my image. So that's why no image of him was ever created. It is also believed that the early, Buddhists, they believed that because Buddha was a divine beings should not be defined by their physical form. So that's why also no image of the Buddha was ever created. Okay? So what did they use instead? When they wanted to depict the Buddha in some of the sculptures that they've created, they used very interesting symbols. So for example, they used the Bodhi tree under which the Buddha gained enlightenment. Or they used the Dharma Chakra. Yeah? So this basically depicts the teachings of the Buddha of compassion and non-violence. Okay? So they used very, very interesting symbols to depict the Buddha. If you had to choose a symbol for yourself, what would that symbol be? Raise your hands, please. Anything related to your life, your likings, your hobbies, something that tells us about you, but it's not a picture of you. Anyone? A symbol for yourself? Yes.
Square.
A square. Okay. Why? Why a square though?
A square has four corners. Likewise, my family also has 4 members.
Okay. That's interesting. Lovely. Anyone else? Yes.
Ma'am, triangle.
Triangle. Okay. Why?
It has 3 corners and I had which one?
Okay. All right. If I had to choose a symbol for myself, maybe I'll choose a pen because I write and I'm a writer. Yes.
Ma'am, a brush and a palette.
Okay. A palette and a brush because you paint? Yes. Okay. Lovely. Yes. Anyone else? Yes. Indian flag. Okay. So Buddha was also depicted through these very, very interesting symbols. Now we come to the question, if we did not have an image or a sculpture or an idol of the Buddha, this image that we are so familiar with, Buddha with a top knot, curly hair, off-shoulder, robe, how did we get this image of the Buddha? So this image of the Buddha came with a king whose name was King Kanishk. He was from the Kushan dynasty. He was a great follower of Buddhism. And when he established, his rule in India, he decided to make Gandhar his capital. Gandhar, the center of his empire. Now Gandhar was right at the center of the Silk Route, where a lot of artists from the eastern world and the western world met. Okay, so he asked some of those artists to create a sculpture of the Buddha. Now, did they have anything by way of references? Had they seen the Buddha? They hadn't. Did they have any pictures or sculptures to refer to? No, they did not. So how did they come up with this image of the Buddha. So we will do an activity to find that out. I need 2 volunteers. Yes. You also come. And we need some drawing sheets. Come. I need 2 people. Come. Yeah. Okay. So I have a painting here that I'll share with the both of them, and they will tell you about that painting. Okay? Yeah? And listening to what they tell you, you will create a drawing. Okay? Are the instructions clear? Yes. So they will tell you what the elements of that painting are, and listening to them, you will draw that painting. Yeah? We'll give you the sheets. Okay, we only have 10 minutes, so this is going to be a quick exercise. Okay, we'll quickly draw. Have you all got the sheets? Should we begin? Are you all ready? Ready? Okay. Now listen carefully to what they're saying. They'll explain the painting to you, and then you'll have to draw.
There is a man and a woman.
So there's a man in the painting and there's a woman. They're both standing side by side.
Yes.
Their shoulders are touching. Okay.
The man is wearing specs.
The man is wearing glasses. He's wearing specs.
And behind them there is a house.
Behind them there is a house. You can also ask questions if you want. What kind of a house is there?
And the man is wearing a coat.
He's wearing a coat. He's wearing a blazer. Under that coat, under that blazer, he's wearing denim overalls, like a dungaree. Okay? He's wearing a denim, overalls, like a dungaree. And over that dungaree, he's wearing a coat, a blazer.
What is this?
A pitchfork.
And in the man's hand there is a pitchfork.
It's almost like a trishul.
Yes.
So the man is holding a pitchfork. It looks a little like a trishul. Okay? What is the woman wearing?
The woman is wearing a frock. Under that frock, she is wearing a shirt.
So she's wearing a shirt, and over that shirt she is wearing a frock, a dress. Okay? What kind of hairstyles do they have?
The woman is had tied her hairs.
Yes. So the woman's hair are tied in a bun, and the man is bald. He has no hair.
And the woman is having a curly.
Yes. So she has curly hair. Okay?
And
yes. You have a question?
Man's face is rectangle.
He's a lanky sort of a man.
Yes.
Okay, so he's lean, and so is the woman. Okay.
And behind that house there are many trees.
So there's a man and a woman. Behind them there is a house. Behind the house there are trees.
And the house is very big and in top of the house there is a type of antenna. And their window is like a leaf structure, and
So the house
Upper
has
window.
slanted roof. Okay?
and the upper window only having the leaf structure, but the lower windows are like a rectangle. And
We can't see the entire length of both these people. They are drawn till their bust. So it's a close-up sort of a painting where we see the man and the woman till here. Behind them there is a house. Behind the house there are trees. Yeah.
and the woman's is wearing a badge type here.
So she's wearing a brooch here, right at the center of the church. Just below her collar. Is there anyone who's done? Who's done? Okay. Come. She's wearing a dress.
She first wears a shirt, and over that shirt she's wearing a frock type dress.
It's a dress with a noodle strap. Is that correct? Yes. Oh, okay, no. It's a sleeveless dress that she's wearing over the shirt. Is there anyone who's done? Come, share. Come here. Okay, so this is what is drawn. Lovely. Anyone else who's done?
The man is standing
It's almost done. Come. We don't have time. Come.
at the right side, and the woman is standing at the left
this
side.
is close. This
Yes.
is what is drawn.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Quickly, we don't have time. We're running out of time. Yes. Okay. This is what she has drawn. Lovely. Anyone else who's done? Come. Okay, should we show you how the actual picture looks like? No? Okay, we'll take 2 more responses and then we'll check. Come. Quickly. Okay. Is it close?
Yes. Something close.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing. Should we show you the original painting now? We don't have time, sadly. Okay. Okay. So this is the actual painting. Now this is exactly what happened with the image of the Buddha as well. So these, the sculptors who created the image of the Buddha, they were from the Greco-Roman world. They came from Greece and Rome. And they had not seen the image of the Buddha before because there was no image of the Buddha. So what they did was, they were a very, very smart lot. They used to create, sculptures of Greek gods and Roman kings. So what they did was, they took characteristics from Greek gods and Roman kings, and they sort of fused those characters with whatever they had heard about the Buddha. So there are certain characteristics that early Buddhist discourses say that Buddha had. These were characteristics like long arms and a top knot and long earlobes. So they combined both these things, and that's how they created the image of the Buddha. So these are the kind of sculptures that they created. So these were sculptures of Greek gods and Roman kings, and these sculptures usually depicted them in very, very athletic bodies. They had halo behind their heads. They used to wear the Roman toga, the long flowing garment. Okay, so they combined these things. You'll see in the image of the Buddha also, he has curly hair, he has athletic body, he wears something like the toga, the Roman garment, right? So they were inspired by these sculptures, and that's how they created the image of the Buddha. Now the question is, did Buddha actually look like this? Did the Buddha actually look like this?
No.
No one knows. That's one of the biggest mysteries of Indian art. We do not know how the Buddha looked. Your guess is as good or bad as mine. Okay? So that is basically the mystery of the image of God, of Lord Buddha. Okay? Yeah? So I think that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you so much. I had the most wonderful time, and I really hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you.